Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and some more stories talk. As we're going into launch, you might be wondering, like, what is the full list of monsties in the game? And also, are there any monsters that won't be monsties? And unfortunately, that is true. There will be some monster only. But thankfully, most of the lineup will also be monsties. That's clear at this point. And we had some new reveals with the recent, launch trailer and some confirmations to talk about. So let's start with the new reveals of Monstie plus Monster. So firstly, obviously we have Goss Harag, which is upgraded from just being a haircut on like the Switch store or something, which was quite a funny, I would assume, accidental reveal of Goss. But now, obviously we've seen Goss Harag, it's a Monstie and a monster, so that's nice to see. But also, alongside that, we have the confirmation of Lunagron, which was a website reveal, for example. You just see that listed on the website. And this was a funny one because they did this showcase where at one point they were showing like egg hatching as a mechanic and showing us Lunagron's egg. Like, who could this be? So nice to have that confirmed. Also revealed newly in the trailer was Blangonga, so that's cool. And one reveal that was clearly monster only is the Invasive Plesioth. Invasives are essentially just variants, like a version of variants. And there's only 3 that we currently know of, with Plesioth being added to that list. But what about monster only? The ones that it seems right now that are only going to be monsters, no monstie. Let's start with the big question mark, which is Ragnar Kadaki. This is very uncertain, right? You've seen the monster in a trailer sort of harassing people and setting fire to stuff. Sure. You've also seen an NPC in the background wearing the Ragnar armor set. But it still doesn't seem confirmed that Ragnar Kadaki is a monstie. I would still think it's extremely likely though. I would be very surprised if it wasn't a monstie. But it's one that we're just still not like 100% about. Outside of that, we do have seemingly monster onlys. So there's Nibblesnarf, which is a real shame because a monstie version of that would be hilarious, like riding through the sand or something. And then you got like the big final bosses of previous games. So you got Yama, you got Nawa, and of course Ibushi hanging in the air. These are like ginormous monsters, so I guess they don't want that to be a monstie that you're riding around, but that would also be fun. But for now, they do seem like monster only. As a highlight as well, the invasive monster list that we have, which is, wow, there's a lot to talk about here. You got the invasive Yangaruga, you got the invasive Azuros, and then as that newly revealed, invasive Plesioth. So not a lot to look at there, but the invasive concept is obviously on the table. There should be probably a pile of them, but those are, monsters. But now let's talk about the full list of monstie and monsters. So this could be something that you would fight as a monster, but also you can make it a monstie. Let's run down the list pretty quick here. We have the Great Izuchi, we have Aknasom, Bishaten is going to be in the game, and also, of course, Blood Orange Bishaten seems very likely because we saw Korra using the Bishaten Embers with the Gravios, which means there must be a Blood Orange in the game. Anyway, we got big boys like Garangolm, we have the iconic Chatacabra, you've also got Tetranodon, the Plesioth obviously with the invasive version, there's also the green Plesioth. We've got Somnicanth and we've seen the Aurora version of course. There's big boys like Magnum Mallow, Ray Dow, Arkveld, even Espinas is in the game, so coming over from Rise even though it was originally like the Frontier monster, really cool to see. We have Nami as well, Namiel. Fun ones like Almadron, which was one of my favorites from Rise. We have the Shogun, the Crab. More flagships are coming in the form of Malzeno, which was an exciting reveal not too long ago. We had Odagron, which is an interesting reveal where it was a preview event, or like a preview version of the game, and some creator sort of turned around and there was an Ebony Odagron there. So it's extremely likely that regular Odagron's in the game as well. We had a Jarrakan revealed not too long ago in a trailer. Of course, we've got Velocidrome, Zuros, Yian-Kut-Ku, and the blue Yian-Kut-Ku we've seen. We got Gypsyros and also the purple version. We have Paolumu, of course. We got Puke, Kezu in the red version we've seen. There's Anjanath. You got the Royal Ludroth, and very likely purple with that. Of course, we have one of the Fated Four, Mizutsune. And we've seen some cool stuff with Nozilla with a kinship animation where it's like swinging through the trees, very cool. A fan favorite from World, Tobi Kadachi. And then we have the various Rathians. You got regular Rathian, Pink Rathian, Dread Queen Rathian. And on that note, you got things like Nagakuga, Green Nagakuga. We've seen Silverwing Nagakuga as well. Quite a lot of varieties of singular monsters. You've got the Deadeye Yangaruga. Obviously with Deadeye, we also have the regular Yangaruga, by the way. There's Legiana, Legiacrus, of course, people are happy about, and the Ivory version we've seen. Of course, we've got Devil Joe. The ridiculous Brachydios is back with the iconic, like, training montage kinship. There's Astalos, and then the Bolt Reaver version we've also seen in some, like, egg hatching footage. We've got Seragios, which we saw on the map in some preview footage, but also we've now seen like clips of in-game. Palamute also being referred to now for some reason as the Canine. I'm not sure why they've done this like rename thing, but it's the Palamute. Obviously, we mentioned Gravios earlier. Glavenus is back as well. And with that, we've got monsters like Tigrex, we've got Zinogre, of course there's Rathalos Ray, and finally Kulu Yaku, which we saw just like wandering around in the desert below as they were flying around in this preview footage on the back of Malzeno. And we also don't want to forget Diablos in the desert, just having a nice little bit of a sunbathe, I guess. Other ones to mention would be, say, Baroth as well, which we saw very shortly. And I guess it's a question of, do you actually consider Ratha as a unique monstie monster? I suppose so, but it's sort of a main story, like character in its own way. With, say, the Diablos reveal, there is hope for something like Black Diablos and whether Monoblos will be in the game again. But to my knowledge, we just haven't seen those, so could very well just be Diablos. So overall, it's a pretty stacked list, with most of the monsters in the game also being available as monsties, which I think plenty of people are going to be happy with. There's still potential for more monsters that they've not actually revealed, and hopefully monsties with that, on other versions as well, when it comes to basic things like, say, Green Nagakuga and Pink Rathian. It's interesting looking at the website though, because you would hope to see this kind of thing just like listed out for you to easily look at. But even though a lot of what we talked about today has been revealed in trailers and official sources, the website doesn't show like the full list, not even remotely. So you might have been looking at the website and gone, well, you know, there's not a lot here, or there's not a lot of information. So hopefully this little recap and overview of everything we've seen and have actually been shown helps. Again, I think there will be more in the game, but I do think this is pretty close to the full list. There are other monster types or categories, I guess, that we should mention, which is feral monsters. They're basically just the regular monster, but more dangerous, encrusted in crystal that's modifying them somewhat. These are called blight stones across their body, causing the backlash counterattack. They also have like the big elder dragons in their own special category of like calamitous. So that's where we see on the website, you've got Naowa and Ibushi, as well as Nami. And during, say, the launch trailer, you have these armored monsters, obviously. We see armored Rathalos as one key example, but also there's like actual horde rushing you with these armored Glavenus in a long line. But of course, we have to see how this truly overlaps with gameplay. Let us know if you're happy with the list then. Is there any monstie or monster that you feel like should have been here that wasn't? And we'll be covering all things Stories 3 with the release in the coming days. Until next time then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.